Right, okay. We're going to start with the chair of Graduate College, and if we can ask Franklin to come down first, please.
Thank you, Libby, and thank you, Kelly, for organizing this meeting. Thanks to all the LUSU representatives that are here. I will start by introducing myself. I'm Franklin Jomu, originally from Cameroon, and I'm studying my second year PhD in management science. Why did I decide to be the chair of the postgraduate board? Because I think I got the potential to be the chair. That's the first thing. And from my experience, last year I was behind observing. And from what I've observed, I think I can do amazing stuff for all our postgraduate students. So some people may think, why do I think I got the potential? When I was doing my master's degree back in South Africa, I was the president of the Postgraduate Student Association for 1 year. And the community of the postgraduate student at that university was for about 9,000 students. So now, if I'm I'm here to appeal to all of you guys to vote for me as the chair of the board. And things that I'm planning to do if I'm elected, the first thing is to make sure that the postgraduate students are represented at all the meetings where they take decisions, especially at the LUSU, to make sure that all the decisions that are taken there are concerning students, we have our voice in there. And also in different university councils. For example, at the LUSU now, there are some pending important issues, such as the inflation of rent, because the rent at Lancaster University have been going up throughout the past years. So LUSU is trying to write a motion to follow that up. And all the postgraduate students need to make sure that their voice count. They have to to say what they think. The second thing that I would like to do if I'm elected as the chair of the board is organizing the best ever social events the graduate college has ever had. Not just for students that are living on campus, there are some students that live in town, and sometimes they may feel lazy to get from town to the university to participate in any activity that is 30 seconds. That is taking on campus. So we need to organize activities for them. The other social events that I'm planning to organize is the big innovation of the year, which is organizing trips out of Lancaster, going to other cities, Manchester, Birmingham, or Glasgow to organize, to visit, to see what the nightlife is like in those cities. Okay, just vote for Franklin, #1 for chair, and there is a Facebook page set up for my campaign. If you would like to know more ideas of what I'm going to do, you can just find me on Facebook, and you will read a lot about me. And if you have any question, it's more welcome.
Thank you very much, Franklin. If we could ask Sabrina to come up now.
So, hello everyone. My name is Sabrina and I'm running for the position of chair. Some of you might be wondering what is the role of a chair. And I am French, and I first thought that a chair is only a place where you sit down. Then I realized that a chair is really much more than that. The chair represents postgraduate students both off and on campus. To be successful at this, communication is the key. The chair is heavily involved in communication between the university, the LUSU, and the grad college. I believe that I have the skill for this aspect of the role. For example, I was the vice president of my engineering school, and I was in charge of public relations. In addition, I was the campus manager at Total, which is a French petroleum company, and I was involved in the communication process between the company and my fellow students. Also, a chair and the board has to organize socials for members of the graduate college. And I learned how to organize events for thousands of people when I organized the college open day of my engineering school last year. Finally, the chair has to submit a report after every meeting to the graduate college LUSU website. I believe that after being the editor-in-chief of a blog which promotes science and technical studies, I have the skills and experience needed for that role. So now I can just assure you that I will do my very best to meet your expectation, and I really want to play an active role on campus by using the skill I have gained to make the graduate college a better place to live. So thank you all for listening, and I hope that you will vote Sabrina for chair, because I'm not your typical chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. Is Louis here? Louis, yeah. Do you want to go next?
Yeah, ladies and sorry, it can be. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good night. I'd like to thank you for coming today. I'm Leo from China. You also can call me Jiayi. I'm here to running for the postgraduate board chair. When I came to Lancaster, it's LUSU's help that made me easily to adapt to my new life. So from then on, I just want to attend LUSU, be the membership of them, and to help more people in Lancaster. As we know, our postgraduate are made of different country students. So we have different cultures. We may have different favorite sports. We may have different music type. So, have you suffered with the cold water or cold food in Lancaster? Have you suffered with the limited and expensive sports facilities? Have you suffered with always the reply, "Oh, sorry, no, you can't do like that"? So who can stand for you? Who can speak out your voice? Who can be the man to bring you the fantastic activities? It's me. It's Leo. You may have concern. Oh, this is just a funny Chinese guy. His English is even not so good. Oh, it doesn't matter. Although my English is not so good, I have experienced career in dealing with student sport. I have to deal with the students' work for 4 years and even 1 year for the chair in China, and I organized more than 15 activities. Even I organized a business visit for Lancaster professor to China. So my capacity of communication and management will ensure me to be an excellent chair of postgraduate. In sum, I should have to mention that I will thank my friends, my team, my supporter. Okay, my supporter. Without their help, I can do nothing. So just vote for me. Vote for your right. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Jay Gopal can't be here tonight, but Sophie, he sent something to Sophie for her to read out, so she's just going to read for him.
So Jay Gopal has said, "Good evening, ladies, gents and colleagues. I am Jay Gopal doing my MBA. As you all know, I'm standing for the grad chair in the elections, and here's what I will do. Well, first and foremost, I plan to make Grad Bar a more happening place, then integrate different nationalities that we have on campus by celebrating nights out on their festival days, etc. I would also love to help residents of Grad College become fit and enjoy life on campus by holding free yoga, martial art or Zumba sessions. Last but not least, I foresee living at Grad College as a close-knit family and being there for all of you whenever it matters. So even if you are struggling with your studies or feeling homesick, I would like you to feel reassured that someone is there to whom you can turn. Thanks, people, and I hope to implement all of this with your support. So I hope that you will vote for me and help me realise this vision that I have. Thank you for coming over and listening to me. Have a great evening."
Thank you very much. Right, we're going to go to the postgrad sports representative now. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to go to questions for the chair position. So if everybody who's just ran for chair could come up and stand at the front, and then we'll take questions from the floor. Right, okay, so has anybody got any questions that they'd like to ask the chairs? Yep, 1 second, we just need to get a microphone to you.
Thank you. Well done. First of all, I have one little question. So I've been here in Lancaster for a while, and I think what in the past the postgraduate representation has suffered from the really short cycle that the people that do the representation actually stay here in Lancaster. So, you know, a master degree is usually for 1 year, and people get here and they move to Lancaster, and then they need a couple of months to get to know how things are working here. And then by that time it's Christmas and you already look towards the end of your degree. So could I ask all three candidates, like, what is your experience, or have you been here in Lancaster for some while? Do you feel you know the uni, and how long are you actually planning on staying here, and like how is your commitment towards the future, let's say?
Okay, thank you for the question. As I said, when I started my speech, I was here last year, and that was a year of observation. And that was one of the matters that I managed to observe from last year. He talked about the Freshers' Week. I guess in all the colleges, the JCR were in charge of organizing the Freshers' Week for their own college. But for the graduate college, the only big night out we had was organized by the LUSU, because there was no one around as member of postgrad board to organize something for postgraduate students. So postgraduate student was left on the side. I don't want that to happen anymore. We need to take actions. We need people that will be there to represent postgraduate students, plan and organize events for postgraduate students, whether it is within the period of, within the term or outside the term. We need to make that and make sure that the transition from this year and next year is also assured. So that's one of the reasons that mainly motivated me to run for this position, because I know I will be here next year, and I will make sure that the transition is gone through. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, it's the first time that I come to England, and I'm here since 3 weeks. But in my engineering school in France, we learn to manage to adapt yourself to all environment. And so I think that here I can manage to adapt myself to the language, to the environment, to all the people and with lot of nationalities. And so I'm sure that I can organize some lot of events, even if I'm here just for 1 year. Will be available after my here to do and to explain to my future chair what he has to do and what are my types to do his work well and etc. So I don't think that you really need to know perfectly the Lancaster University to be a good chair.
Okay, thank you for your question. In my opinion, I think I agree with Franklin that we should find our postgraduate. We can find our postgraduate board in the summer. Maybe the LUSU can send an email to different people who have an offer, and somebody can nominate themselves, and from the beginning we can have the postgraduate board to have different events for different country and culture. Maybe my Chinese friend told me they need a Chinese night. They need a Chinese night. Maybe like the music in the grand bar, not always English, not always the English music. Maybe they just can sing, they can do everything in the grand bar. And before Christmas, now we will made the postgraduate board, and before the Christmas we can do many things and have some mailbox, got information and ideas from you, and we can do whatever we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Yep.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'd like to ask 2 questions. First question, it's very easy, but I want to ask for some certain reasons. And then the second question is, I want to know whether you really know the job. First things first, can you tell me who the chairperson for the 2011-2012 is? I want the name of the person.
Sorry, just point of information. This is a completely new setup, so there won't have been a chair for 2011.
Oh, so this is the first time. Okay,
yeah.
All right
Yeah.
then. So no problem.
No,
Same way I'm new, so I need to know because they were saying they were going to ask some questions, right? So I needed to know who were they going to ask.
Okay, so who are they going to ask questions
Yeah, the last two candidates actually mentioned that this is their first time in Lancaster, so they will need to get some information. Who are they going to be getting the information from?
Okay, do you want to ask that just to
Yeah,
and Louis?
since, the last 2.
Okay, actually, I didn't fully understand the questions.
Okay, first, what I wanted to ask was if you knew the chairperson for 2011-2012, so I can know if you probably have built a relationship to find out the nature of the job, and I'm aware that there has never been a position like that. Now, I would like to know, because from your last question, or your answers to his question, you mentioned you would like to get some information that would help you transit on this job. Right, so I need to know who would you be getting that information from, since there hasn't been a position like this before.
Okay, so I think that I will be helped by all the members of the LUSU, like Kelly and Libby. And I have also my own experience when I was vice president in France. So that's it. I think that, yeah, we are supported by a lot of people, and we can do the job.
Okay, in my understanding, the job is like to build a bridge with postgraduate and our officer, maybe the Lancaster University officer, to solve our problem. Maybe you have concern and you don't know where you can speak to, and we gather information from all of you, and we can find which is more related to your daily life, to your study, and we can report it and to try to fight for our right. Maybe something you cannot agree with. You are only one is single, but more maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 can get together, be a big power. And talking about the this is a new system or new board, and we can deal with things with our Lusu's friends is Sophie and somebody. And from my own experience, I have the same experience like this institute in my country in China and in my undergraduate student career. So it's I can stimulate something and just thank you.
So, like I said, I have a second question. My second question is for the three of them. I would like to know, like Franklin had mentioned, you mentioned one of the current issues for the postgraduates is the rate of fees for the accommodation. Can you shed more light on any other pressing issue that you think in the hearts of those of us that are here you would like to actually tackle during your sit, so we can actually have an addition to that? And then for the others who are running with you, I would like to know what other pressing issues do you think are on the hearts of the postgraduate students that you would like to handle during your aside, please, social events, because we understand the socials. Thank you.
Okay, so what one thing are you going to do during your term in office that's not social events or tackling rent?
So he asked Franklin first. Okay, so it's a it's a problem.
Yeah, the one thing that you're going to tackle.
The taps we use in the bathroom is cold and hot, right? Divide, and okay, it's terrible for us to use. Sometimes you want to wash your face in the morning, and it's be too cold or too hot for you. And some countries you are accustomed to use to wash clothes by their hand, not use a machine. How can they wash the clothes? It's a typical problem.
So what would you do about
it? In our kitchen, in our old kitchen, it used to, I know it used to be like that, but they changed the tunnel. It can be changed, right? They changed the tunnel. So we can say, oh, all of us don't want this or don't like this. We pay money here. Why can't we have a new system, new tunnel, right? We can deal with the officer here, the resident here. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so for me, I think that the first thing that we have to do is to ask to the student what are the issues that they can meet. And so that's the reason why there are some forums who are organized. And then toward the budget, or I don't know how it will be organized, but it will depend on that. And so that's the reason why I think that before suggest some improvement, we have to ask to all students what are the real issues they meet.
Okay. The other issue that I think postgraduate has to make their voice heard about is the issue of restructuring the bars that has happened recently. And some people might think it's a social thing, but it has affected our bar. If you go to Grad Bar now, it used to be very full on the Friday, Saturday nights, but now you can count maybe 10 people. And this is due to the restructure that happened during the summer holidays. And this is one of the issues that the LUSU is having a motion about, and they are trying to follow up. And I think that we postgraduate students, we need to say what we think and how is this issue affecting us as well, so that it can be followed up. And some other thing, I myself, I like playing table tennis, but if we go in our college, we have in the game room, we have 2 tables, 2 pool tables. And if you want to play table tennis, there's a table you put it on top of one of the pool tables. But it's written on the wall, priority to pool. So if you are playing table tennis, someone comes to play pool, you have to move away. So that hurt my feeling last year. I couldn't play table tennis. In other colleges, that doesn't happen. They have different places for pool, different places for table tennis. So we need to raise those kind of issues up so that everyone will feel happy and feel at home. If you want to do whatever it is, you may do it without being frustrated. Also, oh, no, the other thing is social. I'm not going to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, just want to... Sorry. You're okay.
Okay. I think it's very nice to talk about the social activities in graduate college. But at the same time, as a PhD student, I'm interested to know what academic things you will do. Because it's so sad that we don't have GCR like other colleges or JCR. When I did my master's, they used to have some kind of seminars during Saturday. So you choose a topic and then they will have a discussion. People will come and present their work in the college. So taking into consideration that your guys doing masters, will you be able to organize this for us? Because we are more interested in presenting our work. So I know for PhD it's more flexible, but will you be able to manage this? Because if you're going to do this academic activity, it will take lots of your time. And plus, for the common room, actually, in the reading area, you have the cafe now. Do you have any ideas how you can activate the cafe? For example, you can provide, you can actually ask some of the students to go and work in the cafe. You can activate the cafe. Then we have some kind of cafeteria during the night or something like this. Will you be able to manage all of that?
Okay, so that was 2 questions. First one is what academic things they were going to do. Is that correct? Right, so are you going to be able to manage the academic activities as well, because it's a lot of work?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm studying engineering, master in mechatronic system engineering. And according to my timetable, it's very flexible. I have 2 weeks per month, which are free. So I will have a lot of time to organize those activities, as you mentioned. So I think that it will be okay for me.
And I think this job is also more about commitment. And I'm not going to touch the experience side because they might say I'm trying to be discriminative because I'm doing PhD, they are doing masters. No. But it's more about commitment. And for those of you who know me, I'm a committed person. I do lots of stuff apart from my PhD. I dance, I play football, I do lots of things around it. I play table tennis. So it's about commitment. And also, this is not the load of the chairperson. Next, on Thursday, during the forum, there will be some people in charge of every faculty. So I think if the chairperson is collaborative enough, we can, with the collaboration of those representatives of those faculty, because in each faculty, there will be one representative for the research and one representative for the taught courses. So the research person might be more experienced and work in collaboration with the chairperson. But I personally now think that whoever is the faculty representative, I would suggest ideas. I'm used to organizing seminars in different departments and so on. So I would suggest ideas and set up such seminars to fulfill most of PhD students need. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, just to confirm your question, is your question ask me how can I manage my academic? Yeah. Yeah. First, I have the same major with Sabrina. We are all engineering school students, and we just have a flexible timetable. Is one, and the second, I think time is like a toothpaste. You just push it, and time will have. I remember in my undergraduate the first year I have 8 society. I attend 8 society and also the student union. But I also have I also have study to do, right? And sometimes I just can work from the morning until midnight. It depends on yourself. How many hours can you work? I think I can do this. Thank you.
Oh, we'll take these 2 questions. Yep, do you want to go first? Sorry, we just need to wait for a microphone.
This is a question for Franklin. You mentioned that you were here last year, and it was a good year to kind of observe things, which is great. I was just wondering, during that year, when you were observing things, did you attend any LUSU general meetings? And would you like to kind of briefly touch upon some of the issues that were affecting the university last year?
Got that question?
Okay, right. Last year, I'm going to be honest, I didn't come to most of the LUSU's meeting, but I attended meetings of what was called the Postgraduate Student Association. I attended some forums where we discussed issues that are affecting mainly postgraduate students. And most of it was all about organizing. Some of them were about organizing the grad stock, which is like the major activity extra of the graduate college, and also about organizing the day trips to visit, to go as the college does organize every 2 weeks. So it was all about that. Yeah. And for this year, I started attending LUSU general meeting because of my political ambition as well.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Okay. Concerning the social part, I wanted to know if you have already thought about parties or social events in the graduate college, and at which frequency would you like to organize things like that?
So have you thought about any events and how often would you think they would happen? Yep.
Yeah, the activities or events should suit your demand. I think if all of you want every week, or you need a party, a big party, because small party we can provide a platform. Maybe we can build a platform to all of you to paste your information, and okay, I will have a party today. Who will come? Who are glad to come today? This is a platform. It's a method. We cannot. Sometimes we cannot do much actual action but we can provide the information for all of you, especially for a platform or some websites. You can communication with each other, but for the big event, it depends on it depends on your demand. Maybe tonight we want a music night, and tomorrow somebody, okay, it's too noisy. Yeah, I live in the first house one, and it's usually be noisy, and it all depends on how many people they know. If half, yeah. If more than half to want to, I can arrange a new room for them, or just go out. Okay.
Okay. So it's true that I've heard around me that most of postgraduate students think that there are not enough party, or that the postgraduate college is too calm. So for parties and social events, I think that it will basically depend on the budget that we will have, and if students are ready to pay to do party, or they just want to have party for free. So basically, I think that it will depend on the budget and what the postgraduate student really want to do.
I would thank you for the question. And I will start by saying that in my manifesto, you will see the fourth point is one of the innovation in organizing event in graduate college is like the night trips out of Lancaster. This was not just to make up a campaign. I already have plan worked out for those events. So this will be happening every term, every of the 3 terms. And we organized this kind of event last year with the Ballroom Dancing Society, and it was very successful. So I know how it works. And if you vote for me, there are already plans that next Saturday, there will be a DJ playing in Grad Bar. I've planned that already with, it's not to flatter you, but in some ways, yeah. With DJ Avi, for those of you who know him, there will be a DJ playing in Grad Bar so that you can get into the mood for those who would like to go in town for the Latin party afterwards. That is already set up. And if you look at our college now, every Thursday, there is an open mic or live music playing. But what happens on Friday and Saturday? Nothing. The bar is almost empty. And that is the day, those are the days where we as postgraduate students, after spending the whole day in the library, we need to relax. So I'm planning to organize at least one event every of those Friday and Saturday. There will be pub quizzes or a DJ playing live music for us in the bar. So that's already my plan. Our bar will no longer be empty if I'm elected as the chair of the board.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for your questions. You guys can sit down. Well done. Right, we're going to go to the sports officers now. If we can ask Jenny to come up first.
Thank you. First of all, I'm going to apologise because my voice might go a bit horrible halfway through. I've had a bit of a cold. Yeah, I'm Jenny. I am a master's student for the Environmental Science Department, but I did my undergrad here as well. My main aim as sports rep, if I am elected, is to help promote new sporting teams. Grad College has a bit of a reputation, and part of it is true, that we don't have very many sporting teams compared to the other colleges, and I'd like to change that. So I hope to be able to give some of the budget to new sporting teams so that they can pay for the court fees or the pitch fees or new sporting equipment like new dartboards, stuff like that. But I also want to support the sports group that already exist, because some of them do struggle with having enough numbers for their teams, because it's hard to spread the word sometimes. And to help promote that as well, I'm now a part member of the ladies pool and darts team, and I've also set up a graduate college netball team who has their first match on Wednesday at 2 o'clock if anyone wants to join or watch. I want grad to be seen and heard in the collegiate system like all the other colleges are. A lot of the time when you're speaking to people, they claim that there is 8 colleges when in fact there is 9 colleges. Grad is the 9th one, but it doesn't occur in many of the sporting teams, and I want that to change. I also think there needs to be new promotion of the Carter Shield. Quick raise of hands, who knows what the Carter Shield is? Right, less than half. When I tried to promote the Carter Shield for last Sunday throughout grad, I was met by blank faces, and I think there should be a new promotion of it rather than just posters saying Carter Shield Sunday is this. People need to know what Carter Shield is, so I also want to help promote Carter Shield with Lusu as well. I've had some experience being on a board such as this. I was part of County College JCR in my first year as the green officer. My timetable is quite limited at the moment because I'm a research master's, so I have less taught modules than most people, so I have lots of time that I can dedicate to sports events. So if anybody does want to set up a sports team or want some information about it, you'll be able to approach me in an easy manner, either face-to-face, through Facebook or calling. I really don't mind how people approach me. I don't feel like there has to be a specific time or place where you can reach me. That's my main speech, so thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Lucy?
Hello everyone, I'm Lucy Zhou from China, but I prefer to be called as Lucy. And I'm in the MSc International Business program now, and I feel so honored to be here presenting myself, running after the sports officer of postgraduate board of LUSU. And there are 3 reasons why I'm running after this position. First of all, I love sports. That's obvious. And I like badminton, swimming, and I would like to try all kinds of sports here in Lancaster. And moreover, I would like to encourage every postgraduate to try sports that they don't have experience of. And secondly, I want to meet more people and who also love sports. And I think it's meaningful if I can get more people involved in sports and in sports events, and let postgraduates can talk to each other and meet each other, know each other, and learn from each other. And that's what I think that's the meaning of doing sports and holding sports events. As to why you should vote for me, the reasons are I will try my best to get more funding as much as possible from the university or whatever else possible to the sports teams, to sports events. And secondly, I will work hard to organize as many sports events as possible, because at this stage, I think there is limited number of sports events to be held in postgraduate board. So I think I will provide a better platform for you to participate in sports. And thirdly, I can apply some of my prior experience into it, because I also participating in some sports events during my undergraduate level, and I know the whole process of holding sports events, and I can communicate with people well, and I think my English is not a big problem for me. And last one, I have abundant time, because I have like 3 days off every week, and I can dedicate that to this job. And thank you, I'm Lucy, and hope you will vote for me. Thank you.
Do we have Rishi? No? Okay, sorry. Can Jenny and Lucy come stand at the front? We'll now go to questions from the floor. So does anybody have any questions for our sports officers? Yep.
Okay, hello. Well, I'm doing basketball, and I was quite surprised when I saw the possibilities of doing it here. There is just one team which is very professional with training every day, so it doesn't really fit with my timetable. So now, for this example, are you ready to make the possibility of having a basketball women team in Lancaster for postgraduate, and to have a sort of room available each week, or I don't know, something like that?
So you're asking specifically about basketball?
Or other sports, but for me it will be basketball. But are you ready to do everything to make possible for if someone asks you to organize, for example, one sport?
Yeah, at the moment there is no basketball for an intercollegiate system, especially not for women's. I'm not sure about men's. I think the possibility of setting up a basketball team in grad is possible. Often there is people like just playing basketball on the courts when they're available. I think it might possibly have to be a mixed team, perhaps, because grad is one of the smaller colleges and it's sometimes difficult with everybody having other sports to do. I do have experience of setting up the team. I've set up the grad college netball team for the first time in at least 3 years. We now have a sporting team, so I know how hard it is, but also the process that's necessary in starting up a new basketball team, and I would like to work with you and other people on doing that.
Thank you for the question. First of all, I don't have much experience here because I just get here like 2 weeks ago. But I think building up another team is possible for people like you who don't have abundant time in training, and we can have a very professional team training every day, and one team for like you can choose to like train for 3 nights in a week, and that's fair enough, and they can possibly compete with each other just for relationship competition, you know. Yeah, that's my idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, just want to go to that lady at the back.
Thank you. Setting up teams to play games is not that difficult, but what foundation are you going to lay so that when you leave here after a year, that the other master students that come thereafter will find teams already in place, or sports teams already in place to continue from, so that at some point, maybe 5-10 years from now, we have we have various graduate sports teams that compete against other universities, maybe around the area, as opposed to just like the way the other colleges compete against other universities, rather than just playing for the year. And then the next person who comes in as a postgraduate sports representative now forms new teams for that 1 year again. It will never grow. So what is your foundation to ensure that we grow the graduate sports teams?
Okay, so what are you going to put into place so that the sports teams will continue after you've left?
Actually, my thinking about holding sports events and building up sports teams is not to compete. I think it's a platform for you to know people from different countries, know people from different subjects, and I think that's the meaning of sports team here in postgraduate level, because people will just get involved into their future career after their graduation. And but if you do really want to continue it as a competition among the campuses, among different universities, I think that's possible. first of all, we need to pick up the most talented people, and if they will continue work like me, I will try to work in UK, have a job in UK. Then I can just pass on my past experience and pass on to my next sports officer and tell them how to get the funding, how to organize teams, how to hold up events. So I think that's not a very big problem. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think it's a two-step approach really to be able to develop and continue the teams for a number of years. Firstly, there needs to be the equipment for people so that they don't have to come along and pay for new stuff every single year. Things like balls, bibs, kit, standard stuff that should be available for teams free of charge without them having to pay for a new set every year. I think that's the first step. I think the second step is legacy. If Grad are known for having good teams, then they should be able to get people involved the year after year after year without necessarily having to go out there and promote them from the start. I think a big problem with new teams that we've had is that there hasn't been the publicity in Freshers Week, whereas when you go to Freshers Fair, you've got all of the socials and all of the teams that are available for undergrads, whereas at Grad Fair, when we went this year, there wasn't any sports teams as such. There was just a lot of societies, which is obviously good as well. But I think that is necessary for next year for Freshers Week. Most master's students will have left, but if I don't have a job, I can come back and be at Freshers Fair to promote certain teams so that they do continue for year after year.
Thank you. Yeah.
Actually, I have a question concerning about the basketball court. Besides the team, the court is a problem because we have several basketball fans here from all over the world, especially from China, and we go to the court because the weather is continually become more and more cold. So it's just a play outside is easy to get hurt. So we just go to the sports center to looking for some solutions. But after we got there, they said we are going to share the court with the badminton, which means if there are some people play badminton, we will not given the court for basketball. We are asking for further solutions. We are advised that the only solution is we need to pay £50 per hour to rent. Otherwise, you can. The only way is just to play outside. So this question is not only for the sports officer, but also for the postgraduate board. We would like to know whether you have some solution for us. Thank you.
Okay. So do you have a solution to problems like that? Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, and we need a membership card so we can play in the sports center, right? And for the badminton, I love playing badminton, so I know you need to book a sports, like the playground for badminton in advance, like 1 week before you play. So if we want to hold up a basketball competition, then we can talk with sports office, the managers of the sports center, like in 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before the before the competition, and negotiate with them. Like we have a minimum of how many players, and they all have the membership card of your center, or they will pay as they go. And once we reach the minimum number of players, and we can rent their playground for 1 or 2 hours, and we can do that in 2 weeks in advance. Yeah, so I think that's a good.
The question is because today they have a priority because if there are some people playing badminton.
Yeah, I mean, we need to do that in very early. Prior to those badminton players, because it's how to say, it's a negotiation, because most of the people can only arrange their time for sports like next week, and they cannot arrange the time for the next week. Can you get my point? Yeah, so we can book the playground in 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So I think we can get the playground for like weekends. I will try to get some funding from the uni, or possibly if you every of you are sports fans, then you possibly have this membership card of the sports center, and or if possibly we can get funding from LUSU or from the undergraduate board. Yeah, we can seek for multiple solutions. Yeah, for that.
Okay, yeah, I do understand the problem with the sports centre having to book and it being expensive, and also the same with the courts. I myself find them quite expensive, but it is difficult to negotiate prices because the sports centre is sort of not run by LUSU. It's like separate, and you can't go through LUSU to say, oh, well, that court costs £50, but could we now have it for 10, please, because we're a bit strapped for cash. Like, it's a bit difficult with the money. However, the issue with the courts is that they can be booked at any time. So I know it's hard to say that because the weather's always changing. You don't want to book a slot to play basketball 2 o'clock tomorrow and it rains. Like, I get that. But the people who have booked have paid as well. So they should have priority over the people who are just turning up to play. There should be perhaps an idea of maybe building or designating another area for sports like that where you're just having fun. It's more of a hobby than a team, so that you can leave that space for people to be booked, as they have got teams going on and they are paying for it, and then you could just do your hobby. But it does work both ways as well. I've had experience with a number of people on the basketball courts and netball courts who will refuse to move despite the fact that they have been booked out by a team, and after they do finally leave, there are cigarette butts everywhere, and it's just not acceptable if people have paid for that to then have it left in a condition by people who've not paid. So I do think there needs to be some communication going on between people who want to play just for fun rather than play for a team, so I can try and sort that out. But the sports centre pricing is difficult to change. I'm just going to say that now. Yeah, we are going to have to just see if we can book them in advance inside rather than outside, because the weather is getting bad, so that when they're booked out, the badminton people can't play. We would have to be maybe a separate funding and budget issue, seeing as you're not a team and you're not playing like proper matches against people. It's just for fun. But we can definitely see if we can work that out.
Thank you. Yep, gentleman in the middle. Right, we're going to take those 3 questions and then move on to the representative.
So I'm a third-year PhD student, and one thing that I always find a bit disappointing about graduate college is, because all the master students leave after a year, there's never that same kind of sense of belonging or sense of pride in your college than you get with undergrads. So I was wondering how you would maybe use sports teams or sports events to kind of get more, sense of belonging into graduate college.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with that one. And I do think one of the main issues is when you first start as a fresher, you grow an attachment to your college and a slight, not hatred, but a slight dislike against other colleges because you are chanting and you're living together. And it's a lot different in grad because there is none of that. And as some of the chair people raised, the Freshers' Week for grads was not really as some of us expected or wanted. So part of that would be communicating with the chair people and LUSU to work on Freshers' Week for the graduate college. Secondly, being able to have more inter-college sports teams for grad would help a lot as well, because that helps you have a sense of belonging that you're playing for your college. Then you grow like an attachment to your playing for your college. I was in county for 3 years, and trying to leave playing county netball to try and make grad netball was difficult because you grow attachments. But I do think making inter-college sports teams would be a lot easier, and I appreciate that the PhD students are here for longer than the master's students, and it can be hard in that way. But I do hope that with more advertisement and more teams, more PhD students as well as master's students will join in.
Thank you for your question. I think the most important point is to publicize the sports events and get more people involved into it. And for those who really love sports, I think they do have the sense of belongings, because it's like it's the spirit of doing sports, right? When you are doing sports, you are with your team. You need to work together, play together, so that you can compete with other teams. And secondly, we possibly can set up a prize, not necessarily a huge prize, something small that can give you, make you feel rewarding, and then you will strive for the same prize and play together, play hard, and yeah, just cooperate together. Yeah, and possibly the prize can be like a one night free drink in Red Bar. Is that attractive? I think so. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
My question was in the same sense of setting up a team but particularly for the Carter Shield. So I wanted to know.
One second, let me get a microphone to you.
My question was about setting up teams for grad college to take part in the Carter Shield. My question is, how far are you willing? Because all the time most of the time from experience, you will have less people interested. So you need to push yourself and maybe have lots of people around you at some point to make teams to go and play. Last year, I found myself playing touch rugby, and I've never played that before. So how far are you willing to go?
So is that how far are they willing to go to get a team?
Yeah, to get teams into
Carter Shield.
Carter Shield, so that graduate college can perform at least as good as last year.
Okay.
For this question, I think for this problem, I think posters are not working. So possibly we need to build up a small team responsible for knocking everyone's door, because postgraduates tend to lock themselves inside their rooms and writing essays without knowing what's happening outside. So we need to knock at their door and tell them what's happening, because some of them are interested in the Carter Shield, but they do not know. They don't know the information about that, and nobody tells them, or they don't notice those posters. So we need to just go to their dorm and knock the door and tell them what is happening and what we are going to do in the Carter Shield. And secondly, what I want to say. And we can circulate emails among all the postgraduates, and I think we need to make the email more attractive than the normal emails. Like we need to make the price in the price for the shuffle field in the top priority place in the email and catch their eyes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I do agree. It is difficult to grab the attention for people for Carter Shield. As I did mention in my little speech before, not many people know what Carter Shield is if they are new to Lancaster or grad college. They don't really know what the Carter Shield is, which was a big problem, I think, for this Sunday that's just passed. Carter Shield is a inter-college sporting event, which used to happen every Sunday, but now it's happening every second Sunday, which will help hopefully also get more people interested. It's not your typical sports. There is variation on sports such as tag rugby, bowling, darts. It's just a little bit of fun on a Sunday morning to help people get out of bed and just make some friends and do some stuff. The publicity of it is difficult. At the minute, the posters just say Carter Shield this Sunday, whatever sport, but nobody knows what Carter Shield is. So there does need to be big publishing of what exactly the Carter Shield is, what it stands for, why we're doing it, what you have to gain from it. And yet, last year, grad came second. Which is amazing out of the 9 colleges, but we need to continue with that this year and just make sure that we do as good as we did before. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Okay. I have a question also for Lusu. Is there any other college sports officer?
any other colleges.
Yeah, for health sports officer.
Yes, they do.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. So, how can you get well with them and have some communication to organize some events and share some information? For example, I'm also a basketball fan, and the outdoor basketball court is even not a standard court, right? There is no standard line, just to iron board, and it always go wrong, and it's not only postgraduate to report it. It's all our Lancaster University students to share this outdoor. How can you arrange it with them? Okay.
So how are they going to communicate with sports officers in other colleges? Yep. Jenny, do you want to take that first?
Okay. Yeah. At the moment, or how it used to be a few years ago and last year, the JCR meetings in the other colleges occur on Sundays at specific times in specific locations, which makes it difficult for each of us to talk to each other. But I would like to see maybe at least just once a month, maybe all of the sports officers coming together. I know we will be able to see each other at like general meetings and stuff like that, but maybe come together more frequently so that we can discuss things like that. The courts, as you were saying before, they are netball courts, and that's why they don't have a basketball line on them. They do have the basketball nets, but they are officially netball courts, and we only have indoor basketball courts. I could maybe speak to somebody about possibly changing it so that it does have the lines on for both. But again, that would have to be speaking to the sports centre to do that. But I do agree that there does need to be more communication between the sports officers in different colleges, and I hope to set up meetings at least once a month with everybody so we can discuss things.
Thank you for your question. And I think how to get to know those sports officers of other colleges, basically from the general meeting that we are going to hold, and other means is from my acquaintances. Yeah, at this stage I get to know like former sports officer of the county college, and he will tell me if I have any questions about holding sports events, and then he will introduce me his successors and his acquaintances he knows, and then I can start the network. And for the arrangement of the sport, is that question? Arrangement of the sports playground, right? We can just negotiate with the netball team, and we can share or just share a little bit time of that playground. Yep.
Thank you very much. Well done. Do we have either of the grad resident representatives here? Yes. Fabulous. Right, Sakit.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, I'm Saket, and I'm pursuing MSc Management here. I'm standing for the post of graduate representative, graduate college representative. Well, I'll briefly introduce myself. I'm a people's person, and I love interacting with new people. And my aim is to bring different communities together. I would also want to make your experience in Lancaster, your stay, very memorable by organizing fun-filled events, fun-filled social as well as cultural events. Like pound parties, cultural nights, and celebrating different festivities of different nationalities, and many more. Most of us are satisfied and happy with the way things are being done, but some of us are not. If you're not, you can directly come up to me, and together we can look for an alternative and resolve the same. Looking for everyone's support. Thank you, guys.
As the other person isn't here, we'll now just take questions for Sakit. So does anybody have any questions? No one? Okay. Right, in that case then, you can sit down. Thank you all very much for coming. The recordings of the hustings will be up on the postgraduate website, hopefully by the morning. Voting opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. and closes at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Also on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock in Boland North Seminar Room 10 is the faculty forums, which you're all invited to, where the results will be announced of this election. So thank you all very much for coming. If you have any more questions for the candidates, please get in touch with them via Facebook or email, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.